I think for Tanner, it's just continue to pound the strike zone. When Tanner's at his best, he's got his changeup working really well, and we've seen the curveball start to really develop as well. And for Tanner, it's the two fastballs. It's putting him in the right spots, and the good mix of speeds with the changeup curveball.
Some of his best in Kansas City. Is that something from a pitcher's perspective that's in the back of your mind's heart when you come back to a ballpark like this?
Yeah, you know as a player, you know where you've played well, where you haven't, and some places give you more confidence, some places just feels right, and but for Tanner, he's historically pitched pretty well here, and hopefully go again.
The bullpen was taxed quite a bit in Sacramento. I think they pitched 45% of the innings over that series. What's the status of those arms?
Yeah, I mean, we're running hot. I think most everybody's available for today, but like you said, we've had a lot of innings out there. We threw a lot of pitches out there, but these guys were coming off an off day, and it's hard because it's at the beginning of 13 in a row. But anytime you go to a place like Sacramento, that's going to happen. But these guys, they're ready to go. We've got enough to get through the game tonight.
A familiar face on the other side in Lane Thomas. What did you enjoy most when you were coaching him?
Lane, first of all, Lane's one of the best human beings you're ever going to run across in this game. He cares about his teammates. A beautiful family, and what Lane meant to us, the spark he gave us coming over in the middle of 24, and obviously one of the cooler playoff moments in recent Cleveland history with the Grand Slam. But just what I love most about Lane is the way he treated everybody, the way that you interact with him on a daily basis. Just a great human being.
I don't think we've ever seen the Michael Walker who's given up 10 runs in his last two starts. What do your reports say? What are you seeing, and how much of that goes into what you're looking for today?
Yeah, I mean, we always look at recent trends. We always look at how guys might be pitching a little bit differently, but for us, we know we're going to get the best version of Michael Walker. That's what happens, and so we have to go off of history. We have to go off of recency, but for us, it's about laying off the borderline pitches with him. When we've had some success against him, we're not putting stuff in play weakly. We're hitting the ball hard, so got to get him up, get him over the plate, and lay off those edge pitches. His changeup has given us a lot of fits, the changeup and cutter, and so with Reese and David in there, just gives him a couple different looks throughout. He can't get in a groove versus 8-9 lefties like it's typical for us. So just to try and give him different looks. Obviously, Reese and David have been having some good at bats as well, and so we wanted to get he historically gets hit harder by righties than lefties as well.
Is that why DeLauder and Manzardo aren't in?
That Manzardo, yes. DeLauder is off day for Chase.
Is it tough after the series he had to keep him out of the lineup?
Yeah, I don't like sitting anybody, Hoynes. I wish I could play 13 guys, but for Chase, we talked about it since spring training. We're going to have days like this where, as much as we want to have him in the lineup every single day, we have to make sure that we're thinking about the long haul, and so today's a day off for Chase.
How much time did you dedicate to looking at the new dimensions? What's the data tell you, that kind of thing?
I haven't looked at it at all. I just read, play it live. If it comes back on the field, play it live, and let the replay sort out the ground rules, because there's some weird edges and some walls right behind walls, and but I haven't looked into how it's playing differently yet.
What have you thought? How does Skubal's injury affect the division and you guys?
It just affects the whole league. You want the best players on the field at all times, and you feel for Tarek, you feel for the Tigers, because it's horrible when anyone gets hurt, and hopefully it's what they're saying it is, just loose bodies, and he'll be back as soon as possible, because we want the best players on the field at all times.
What did he show you last year when he called the clubhouse after his?
He's a really nice person. Just the 10-15 minutes I got to spend with him, chatting with him. Good human being, cares more about people than he does about the game, and we need more. We need to pump those stories more in our game than anything else, because there's a lot of really good human beings playing this game.
Since you've been manager, these two teams are about as even, record-wise. What is it about them and us that seems to bring out the competitive juices on both sides?
I think we're similarly built. We're similarly, we play the game similarly, and they're a very good roster, and we're a very good roster, and we both play really good baseball. So you put those two teams on a field, it's going to be pretty even split, and they play us tough, we play them tough, and anytime we're playing divisional games, it's a lot of fun.
Grant, At times this season, the offense and putting some runs on the board have been hard to come by, but the offense got really hot in Sacramento over the weekend. How good was it to see the team stringing together some at-bats and getting those runs on the board?
Oh, it was awesome. You know, these guys have been working their tails off and putting up quality at-bats, been unlucky at times, but to see it all come together and to score some runs and a lot of runs at that, it was awesome to watch.
When you look at this roster, what do you make of the potential of this offense when things really start clicking?
There's a lot of potential, and you know these guys are young and they're starting to get their feet wet at the big league level, and you'll see at different points different guys get hot. So we're just waiting for when it all kind of comes together.
Speaking of some of those young players, Chase DeLauder obviously has had an unconventional ride to the big leagues. What's it been like to see his start to the season and how he's adjusting to Major League Baseball?
Oh, it's been so fun. I mean, his start in Seattle and what he did in the first week of the season, but even more impressive was when he kind of fell off a little bit, the quality at bats remained through the entire time. And then to come back out of that, it's always good to see a guy go through his first struggle period and come back on top.
His swing is a little different, maybe a little bit unusual. What's it like working with it, and what allows him to still have so much success with it?
So a lot of people say that about his swing, but I've told people it is fast, it is accurate, and it is on plane. So to me, that is a really good swing. So working with it is just making sure he has the right mindset, that he's hunting the right pitches, and that he's in a confident mindset up there at the plate.
One of the players that Stephen Vogt has talked about recently really putting in the work is Kyle Manzardo. It felt like the other day in Sacramento, him getting that big swing may have turned things around a little bit. We saw him have a really solid game yesterday. How would you describe the work that Kyle's been putting in over these last few weeks?
I mean, at the beginning of the year, he was one of the more unluckier players in baseball, so that's a hard way to start. But then he kind of came to this point where it was like, all right, I'm going to put in the work, put my head down, and know that it's going to turn around. And that's what he's been doing. He's just been trying to do things daily to, find some success on the field, keeping positive, getting out there and just, like all our guys, focusing on quality at-bats and just being competitive at the plate. And we're starting to see it turn around there. The at-bats are getting better.
Another young guy you have is Travis Bazzana, who's only been with the team for a few days. What goes into working with a player like Travis for you when you have him for such a short amount of time? You're trying to get adjusted to what he likes, what he's good at, maybe some quirks in his swing. What goes into the work you put in with a new player so quickly?
Well, one, just getting to know him, especially at this level. I had the benefit of knowing him through his minor league career and knowing that he has a big brain and he thinks the game like not a lot of kids in their first week in the big leagues. So that was a benefit. His thought process and that he's going to be a little more cerebral than your typical first week major leaguer, but then just having him understand what that means at this level, right? The pitching's better, starting to understand that guys have better stuff, and what's that mean for him who's always been at the top, right? And how can I combat regularly here today?
Angel Martinez has gotten off to a really solid start as well. He had one of the more impressive series against Kansas City earlier this season. Stephen Vogt also talked a few days ago about how much work he's put in, not only in the field, but at the plate, especially from the left side. What goes into his process, and how have you seen him continue to make strides at the plate as well?
I mean, his confidence level is just on another level than it's been since I've been here and seen him last year. But just he's understanding who he is as a big leaguer. He's going to have some chase out of the zone, but he doesn't panic, and when he's just taking his best swing, the most consistent and more often than not, he hits the ball harder, he's having more competitive at-bats, you see him walk a little bit more. It's just a lot of things that add up to just being a little bit more of a productive player this year.
As we get into the month of May, what are you paying attention to? What are you looking for to continue the offense, just getting momentum, building a rhythm, and really starting to click?
Well, as the year goes on, the stats get up on the board and people start to look at them. So what we're trying to do is focus on the things that actually matter. And like I've said in this talk, quality ABs, winning, playing team baseball. That's what we're going to put our focus on, because when you do that, you just play better and you win more ball games. Thank you, guys.
Angel, so far this season, you have been one of the standouts offensively. Where is your confidence right now at the plate?
He's always been there, like my confidence has always been so high. I bet on myself, so I'm not surprised to the work that I've been doing. Just thankfully and happy that I'm able to be getting it done.
Stephen Vogt talked just the other day about the work you've been putting in. He said it's in the outfield, but it's also at the plate, specifically on the left side. What goes into that work?
Just understand how the games work, like being a little more focused in the game when I'm going to hit, like understanding what I want to do. Just don't go out there for make swings. So that's been my key.
The other day in Sacramento, you got called in to pitch hit, and you came up with that game-leading sac fly. What goes into staying ready when your number is called, even if you're not in that starting lineup?
I'm just trying to slow the game down when I come as a pinch hit because the guys they are already in the game, like they into the game. So when I'm in the bench, just trying to stay ready mentally. That way, when I go to the game, like don't speed up. So that's all that I do.
You saw Kansas City earlier this season. You had quite the series. Let's go through some of those numbers. Career high 4 hits in one of those games, including the Grand Slam. You went 6 for 8 in those 2 games combined. You're batting .750 against the Royals so far this season. The numbers, they speak for themselves, but what stood out to you about the series and how well you were seeing that ball?
Mostly we wanted to win. You know, like I know it's good to always put number, especially against your rivals division, but like we just wanted to win. You know, like those numbers for me, it doesn't matter if like at the end of the game we're not able to win. So honestly, it's nothing special. Just like trying to stay simple and go to the game and do my job.
When you go into a series like this, knowing you've had success against the team, is that in the back of your mind at all?
Nah, not really. I just try to go there, have fun, and trying to help the team win.
This Kansas City team is playing some pretty good baseball right now. You mentioned them being a division rival. What's going to be the key to getting a series win here?
We got to control the little teams, you know, like we got to get on base, we got to move it, we got to score. I know the pitching, they're going to do their job. So in our side, just like being focused and do the little teams and going to end up winning the game.